of when the session begins of increasing raising the minimum wage? What do you think?
I'm pretty optimistic that when we come back into session, or maybe even a special session after the elections, that one of the number one items on our agenda has to be increasing the minimum wage. It becomes an issue not only of fairness, but good economics. One of the things that my office has put out a couple months ago was a very comprehensive report which kind of sort of was in response to the naysayers that somehow this is going to hurt our economy and stifle small business. What we found was the complete opposite. We found that if we increased the minimum wage, we would actually create close to 5,000 new jobs, as well as pump $600 million into our economy. Remember, when a minimum wage job holder gets an increase in salary, they spend it. They buy books for their kids, they buy supplies, they buy food, they pay their rent. So the money is instantly pumped right back into the economy. It's not like they're going to invest it in stocks or a 401k. So this is something that's very, very important, especially if you look at the numbers just in New York City. Over the next several years, 80% of the new jobs that are going to be created are minimum wage jobs. So I think that increase is very important for us here in New York City as well. So I'm hopeful that when we do come back, that's going to be really one of our number one priorities because I think it's something that's important, and I think not only will it help people who are struggling each and every day to pay their bills, but also I think jumpstart our economy and help small businesses as well.
Senator, the Dream Fund. What are the prospects? Again, everyone says that the problem lays in the Republican-controlled state Senate.
Well, we worked very, very hard. I'm carrying Francisco Moyer's bill, the Dream Fund bill, in the state Senate. Tried to convince a lot of my Republican colleagues. We had some of them on board. A small number did sign on to the bill. Others told me they would support it if it came to the floor. I think it has to be a two-year process. When we do important legislation, be it marriage equality, raising the minimum wage, or even something as important as the Dream Fund, sometimes it takes two legislative cycles, so I'm hopeful that we can get it done this year. I think that's an important first step for eventually doing the DREAM Act. Something I think we have to really, educate not only our voters around the state, but even my Republican colleagues. I think we have to get a handle on immigration. Remember, our country is built on immigrants. That's the greatness of our country. My grandparents came here from Hungary. They didn't have any money, and they had one dream, to make sure that their children and grandchildren had a better life than they did. And the way they knew to be able to achieve that was through education. I'm the first member of my family to go to college, to graduate school, to law school, and I'm very proud of that. And I think we have to be very cognizant of the fact that new immigrants, non-citizens, kids who came to this country deserve that same opportunity of a college education.
Senator, what do you think of people that say, that Governor Cuomo pushed hard for the tax reform on, making millionaires pay a little more in taxes and making this tax, thing in New York fair, and then he pushed very hard for marriage equality. Some people feel he hasn't pushed that hard when it comes to the DREAM Act and DREAM Fund. What do you think? And some, I heard one rumor that, he was only going to push for one minority bill, quote unquote, the last session, which was decriminalization of marijuana, small amount of marijuana. What do you think? Has the governor received a bump? What do you think that's about?
I think the governor has done a tremendous job. I think the governor has, once again showed that New York can be the leader on important issues like marriage equality, on a fairer tax system. By the way, that's something that I raised about 4 years ago. And as we were talking about before, sometimes it takes a while to get legislation accomplished. I was pushing 4 years ago, when the Democrats were in the majority, for a fairer tax system, to put more money back in the pockets of middle class and the working class, and tax those at a slightly higher rate at the higher end of the economic spectrum. It's an issue of fairness. It makes sense. And again, it goes back to what we were talking about before with increasing the minimum wage. My calculation showed that if we were giving a tax break to those who were actually earning less, the middle class, the lower class, they would spend it. It would jumpstart our economy. As a matter of fact, I had a very, interesting proposal and now it's being done somewhat, is to give the tax credit back in the form of a debit card to ensure spending. So I think Governor Cuomo has been very, very good about managing expectations. He knows when the opening is in the public, when the grassroots organizations mobilize behind one issue, and I'm sure he's going to put his political muscle and his political skills behind increasing the minimum wage and some form of the Dream Fund to help those non-citizen kids achieve equality and, most importantly, achieve a higher education.
Senator, what's it going to take for the IDC members, if so, to come back to the Democratic conference altogether? What do you think? Is that a possibility, or is that not going to happen?
Well, one thing you never say in politics is never. But at the same time, I think we've done a great job. I mean, who would have thought a year and a half ago that there would be a recognized third conference within the Democratic State Senate? And I think we've raised the issues, core Democratic issues, like the minimum wage, like marriage equality, economic fairness through restructuring our tax structure, like I talked about before. These are the issues that are important to Democrats, and by the way, these are issues that are important to New Yorkers. So I think I want to continue, and I'm sure the rest of my colleagues agree with me, to play that pivotal role in making sure we can move legislation, to make sure we can govern effectively. You know, I lived through, the dysfunction of our Senate majority. You know, I'm very proud of a lot of things I was able to accomplish when I was the deputy majority leader. But I think we're playing, I think, even a more important role now in bipartisan governing. You know, if you look at what's happening in Washington, why Congress has an 8% approval rating, why everyone thinks Washington isn't getting it done. Things are much different here in New York. Things are much more positive than they were 2 years ago as far as the way our constituents view the legislature. And I think that really has a lot to do with Governor Cuomo and, quite frankly, the Independent Democratic Conference, because we're showing that once the dust settles on an election, we can put partisan differences aside and work to get things done for the residents of the state of New York. You know, I think the most important thing we needed to do 2 years ago, and that's why I made the decision to form the IDC, is to win back the voters' trust. And I think the IDC has played an important role in doing just that.
Senator, your name has been thrown around in 3 Senate races: the Sean Morris race upstate, the Linares Espaillat race, and the Gustavo Rivera Manuel Tavares race. Again, is it true, false? Again, I want to hear from you, Senator, because I've read different things, right, and I've heard different rumors. So I figured, let me ask you to clear the record.
Well, the Democratic primary is only a week away. And I don't think there's any secret that the Independent Democratic Conference wanted to grow our ranks, albeit small. And we are involved in the Sean Morse race. I think Sean is a great guy, someone who espouses the ideology of the Independent Democratic Conference. He's a good Democrat. He supports the minimum wage, supports the Dream Fund, supports marriage equality, and he believes in getting things done. Instead of sitting on the sidelines and just trying to look for wedge issues when election time rolls around. So we are supporting Sean Morse. I'll be the first to tell you that the IDC has decided to support Adriano Espaillat in his re-election bid to the state Senate, which I think is important. You know, Adriano is a great elected official. He's someone who we worked with. He appeared with us at press conferences. We worked together on increasing the minimum wage. We worked together on the Dream Fund. He's someone who was very serious about governing and getting things done. So it's someone that the IDC can work with. We're also supporting Tim Kennedy, his re-election in a Erie County seat. Another, good Democrat that is more concerned about serving his constituency and serving the residents of the state of New York than getting involved in constant partisan politics. As far as the last race, we're staying out of that race. We're not supporting Manny Tavares, and we're remaining neutral.
Senator, last question.
It was good to set the record straight.
Last question. Romney or Obama? Who gets your vote?
Overwhelmingly Obama. I think Obama is someone who is a tremendous leader. He was dealt a very, very bad hand. I'm very optimistic that he can get things done and create jobs over the next 4 years, turn our economy around. If you see